Good morning. Welcome. My name's Angela Davis, and I'm the 4am Quilter. And today I'm bringing you the Friendship Star. It's a lovely little block, and I've seen it done in many different variations. So what I've done was I've broken it down, and I've created the basic variation and then 3 additional variations so that you can get sort of a sampling of what you can do with this fun little block. I decided to do mine so that it would finish into a 6-inch block. But anyway, I pulled out one of my books, and this one I bought when I was pregnant with our son, and he is 19. It's called the Quilt Makers Gift. And if you know anything about quilting, I'm sure you've heard of this book. And if you haven't, let me be the first to introduce it to you. The story is by Jeff Brumbo, pictures by Gail DeMarkin. Basically, the story is about a king who rules over his kingdom, but he's never happy. No matter what he acquires, where he travels, whatever he does, he never seems to be quite happy. And there's an old woman that lives, I believe they say, yeah, she lives up in the mountains, and she creates quilts and she gives them away. And so the story goes on to explain how he gets introduced to her, how he approaches her about possibly getting one of these quilts, but it's not one of those quilts that she's just going to give up easily. There has to be some type of a need associated with her giving the quilt. And that's sort of how the story develops from there. But the illustrations are absolutely phenomenal. And in this one, she's stitching in the grass a grandmother's flower garden. Let me show you a couple of other pictures. I thought there was a Friendship Star. Yes, I found it. There is a Friendship Star. If you can see that. The illustrations are just beautiful in this book. Just beautiful. In the front, there's an index of some of the blocks. They call this one Flying Birds. We call it Flying Geese. This one, Robbing Peter to Pay Paul. Children's Delight. Bear's Paw. That's a good one. But I just wanted to introduce this book to you. Oh, here's more in the back. That's what I was trying to do. There's more in the back. Let me just read you a little bit. Some said there was magic in her fingers. Some whispered that her needles and cloth were gifts of the bewitched. And still others said the quilts really fell to earth from the shoulders of passing angels. Many people climbed her mountain, pockets bursting with gold, hoping to buy one of the wonderful quilts, but the woman would not sell them. I give my quilts to those who are poor or homeless, she told all who knocked on her door. They are not for the rich. There's another picture here. Just wanted to share that with you because number one, it had that photo of the Friendship Star in it, and number two, it's a lovely story. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it. The friendship star is basically a 9-patch. We're going to start by creating our half square triangles. I'm using 3-inch cut squares that I've drawn a line down the middle, and then I've sewn a 1/4 inch on either side of that line to create the half square triangles. Here they are, and I will trim them down to 2.5 inches cut. From there, I'm going to lay out my block pieces. I'm using a dark color for the 4 corners and the center, and then I'm using the half square triangles to create the star points. Going to lay them out carefully because it's very easy to get those points turned in the wrong direction. I've decided to put purple in the center instead of the dark black so that you can really see that friendship star in the center. And this block I'm showing you is a basic friendship star. I've sewed my rows together, and now I've sewn my blocks together in rows, and now I'm going to sew the rows together. Press, and there you have it, the basic friendship star block. It finishes to a 6-inch cut block. Next, we're going to start on our variations. I'm choosing my colors here, and I'm going to create my half square triangles. So again, I've drawn a line down the middle and stitched a 1/4 inch on either side of that line. I'll press, cut on that line, open up the seams to create my half square triangles. From here, I trimmed them down to 2.5 inches cut, and now I'm going to create my first variation of the friendship star. I've decided to use half square triangles on the outside 4 corners. And again, I'm laying out my block, and I have to make sure that those points of the star are going in the correct direction. It's very easy to get the points mixed up, going in the wrong direction. So I try to take my time with this step. Now I'm going to sew my blocks together in rows. And then sew my rows together to complete my first variation of the friendship star. On this next variation, I'm creating my half square triangles first, which creates the star points. And I'm also doing a little 4-patch for the center of the block. You can see here where I've drawn my line. I've stitched a 1/4 inch on either side. I press them. I trim on that line, open them up, and now I'm ready to lay out my squares for my block. That little 4-patch in the center creates some wonderful interest on this variation. It also adds a little bit of movement. I'm just laying things out, being careful that my points are going in the right direction for my friendship star. This is a lovely little block. But something doesn't look right. It has to be one of those points. Yes, it is. There. Much better. Now I'm going to sew my first row together, so I'm being careful to keep everything lined up correctly. I'll take these to the sewing machine, sew them a 1/4 inch using an accurate 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'll press them open, bring them back, lay it out, and then flip the last row over to prepare for the stitching, paying close attention to keep that point lined up accurately. This is the last variation where I do the 4 patch on 4 corners. The friendship star variation has many options. You can adjust the size by making sure that your number is divisible by 3, because remember, it's a basic 9 patch. Remember, when you create your triangles, you want to add 1 inch to your finished size when you start. And that adds for the extra seam allowance because you're creating 2 half square triangles from 1 square. And remember, you draw a line down the middle, sew 1/4 inch on either side, press, cut on that line, open them up, and trim them down. Just to recap, here they are. The friendship star is a fun little block. It has many variations and you can have such fun.